Good morning, good morning. This week's going by fast. I get up this time of morning, it's 3:14. About every morning I gotta do some reading and writing. Trying to finish a course. I was supposed to try to finish it last year before January. And then I'm working on finishing that ministry thing that should be done by June. Everything else I've been done. Air conditioning, heat, I'm certified in that. Been working on cars since high school, I'm certified in that. On certain ones that I like to work on anyway. I work on every car. Just two little small stuff in there. Try to keep my stress level down. But I took care of my mom, even though she died 2 years ago. But I gave myself time. Single father. I shut down. When my fiance died, I made sure I was gonna be available for my son. So certain jobs. When I was working my regular job, the little man would be in daycare. Get phone calls. You gotta come get him. So I could be way out in Henderson or Franklin County. You get phone calls, you gotta come get them. So, and daycare was very pricey. Like I said, that healthcare was $450 at the time for Blue Cross and Blue Shield a month. That was steep. Then I bought Cigna. Cigna was $280. But then I was going through my savings, so I had one of my classmates I really trusted. She helped me monitor one of my accounts, and I've had some more of my accounts that people have been watching because I had family members. I had family members hook up cash apps to my account. Somehow my father, I don't know how we have, there's a difference in our name. There's a big difference in our name. And our social security number is totally different. So I don't know how people have got somebody, his name should be nowhere attached to anywhere in my account. And my family stole some money, and my father stole some money with them to try to keep me from being able to, people that make other people feel like you need them. And when you're dealing with a person who has a narcissistic mentality, man, sometimes it's careful. You got to play the game carefully so you don't trick yourself or don't allow them to trick you out of your position. Like he calls me in the morning and it's like, why are you calling me? I've been doing this schedule ever since he was a baby. I know what time to get up. I know what time to go get my son, make sure he's up. And even when it comes, he likes to try to make people in the community feel like I can't do it by myself. So they stage things around me. So I just play the game with them so I don't get frustrated. I do what I do, and I have to do the way I do it so I don't get tricked out of my position, man. But when they stage things around you as a community, you're outnumbered. So you always have to pray to a higher power. My son is, he'll tell you, my son he doesn't like to be alone, left around my dad. And you all can ask him. He doesn't trust him because of the games that he's played. He's manipulative. And he does not. That's why I make sure I'm always around when my son is here. Because my son does not like to be left alone with my dad. Y'all have to be careful of what people say or do or try to convince you. Or they try to single one person out. If it takes a whole group of people to single one person out, why? You have to be careful. See, these are older people, so they have built their connection. They live by the old day time. It's not what they know. Some of them don't know nothing other than what they were taught how to do. So they build relationships on who they know. Like I say, you just have to play the game smart. It's life. It's really not a game because it is life. It shouldn't be that way. But when you're dealing with older people, hey man, I'm trying to keep my family together. I'm trying to keep me and my son together. Um, and there are certain churches that are working together that I know that I went to. They're just sitting back, just waiting for my dad to some of his antics to come up again. See, he wasn't involved in my life. My father, when my mother got into it, they divorced when I was 3. He quit his job and left and went and stayed in he had a tobacco barn, a bus. He went and stayed in the woods. And he lived because he was military, so that's how he wanted to live. And told my mother he was gonna give her any money for us. So my mother, when we moved to Garner, struggled. It just so happened it had to be a teacher. It was a teacher at Westlake who convinced my mother and told my mother she had access to some of his funds, Social Security or something like that. So she got that money and she gave it. She split it between me and my sister later on down the road each month. I would go shopping and my sister would go shopping each week. We were doing it once a month. And that's the same thing, when my fiance died. She had left, it was like, because she had other children. When it first started, it was like $200 or something that I was getting a month. Um, and then it went up to like 450 or something like that. But that's it. Everything else I had to pay out of my pocket. What I do now, that 450 comes in, I make sure little man go buy some clothes, video games, whatever he wants to get. That little money gone. We got some insurance we take care of, and I make sure he's got whatever he needs. And when it comes to the food and stuff, like I said, I had EBT at one time. They cut that off, which is fine. I ain't used it in over 2 years. Only thing I had when I was with my mother, I qualified for, they had me for it then, and it was needed because I was cooking 5 meals a day when I was taking care of my mother. Cancer, helping her, her appetite would change with that chemo. It's just been a rocky road, and dealing with even with this house here. That was a constant reminder when I came back to this house. My fiance, she died here in this house. So people throwing things in front of your face to try to trigger you. So I had to learn how to get over that because some people like to see you suffer and struggle. They don't like to see you get strong and without getting too strong. Oh snap, we gotta do something to keep it. Um, just know that in every situation that God puts you, that's put in front of you. Just know God put it there. Well, he didn't. Whatever he puts in front of you, he's not willing to put it in front of you without guiding you through it. So you just have to stay prayed up, careful, be cautious, and be aware. Like I say, people use the legal system. Some people misuse it. Like I'm a firm believer. I'm a Christian, 100%, man. Any conflict can be resolved without having to go through that. It even says that in the Bible. Why and how the legal system was formed. And as Christians, we're supposed to try to refrain from using it as much as possible, unless you have to. But that's the law was set up for the lawless. Like I said, I'm not perfect, but I ain't talking about no little small petty stuff here. You know, stay away from the legal system. As a Christian, you're supposed to do your best to try to resolve any issue without having to go. You're supposed to refrain from using the legal system. As a firm believer, you're not supposed to use the legal. You're not supposed to. That was set up for. It was like I said, the witches in Salem. It's set up it's in that text. That people will read it. Set up by the witches and wizards of Salem. That somewhat formed the legal system. Like I say, man, you have to be aware. Read, because knowledge is power. And if you know certain things, you know how to protect yourself from them. Like I get up this morning, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, I read the word, I pray. And like some days when I don't have nothing to do, I might go out in the community, walk around. I have stuff in storage. I got stuff in storage I've had for years that I don't use. Probably won't ever use again. I get rid of somebody I know who can use it. Especially if I'm not gonna, it doesn't serve a purpose for me anymore. Sometimes you can have too many material things and it takes more effort to protect it and costs you more to protect certain things. Get rid of some of this stuff. I had a storage unit in Roman Rapids at one time that I hadn't even been down there in like 6 years, but I kept paying on the storage. The lady, when I finally went down there, got everything. She said, "You ain't been there." I said, "I know, right?" Car and a bike that was in storage that I hadn't even used 8 years. So you have to ask yourself, when you purchase certain things, what is the real value? I learned to see the value in the person and their idea, not their worldly, material possessions. Like I say, there's certain churches that don't work. Like I say, my father, I don't know why he does this. Him and some of his old colleagues that he's got fooled and tricked into believing half of the stuff that he got going on. He anyway. I'm not gonna get stuck on that issue. You dealing with a crazy person will drive you crazy. So sometimes you just gotta let them do whatever they're gonna do. Let them stick together in their coats. I don't care about none of the stuff he got going on. Whoever he got trying to come up against me in the community, I don't. I mind my business because I'm one person. If he wants to be there and try to be there for his grandson, then be there. But don't try to push me out the way to make yourself look good. Because my son doesn't even like being around him. He doesn't. That's the reason why I make sure I am here. So my son doesn't have to be left around him. I even got legal written documents saying if I'm not present where my son is supposed to go. They can't. Man, look, I ain't no dummy. Very smart. I might play dumb sometimes. That's because guess what? A smart person can play dumb. But a dummy just can't play. If a dummy just a dummy, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to realize the people you dealing with, man. Like I said, that narcissist mentality, trying to convince other people that they're needed and have to do certain things. If they want to do certain things, then do it. But do it without trying to be recognized in the community for your good efforts. There's no good deed in it. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. There's no good deed in that. I want everybody to read your word, be encouraged. Like I say, I have my flaws, but I deal with mine. In the flesh is weak. Temptation, trials, and tribulation come to make us strong. Um, like I say, even it says in the Bible, it's not good for a man to be alone. This is probably the longest I've ever been single. Let's see, been almost 2 years. 2 years, and I can name the exact date. The last time I can't even say we talked. There was a lady. I haven't seen her since. That was the last time we hooked up was Easter 2023. Other than that, the women I socialize, I might walk through and see in the community. Those people I've known for years. But other than that, I don't know. It's like, man, like I say, man, my father, he doesn't like, I don't know, something strange there. But every time I get into a relationship with a female, he goes to acting crazy. He does. That's because I don't know. Sometimes you have to ask people. I don't know what their issue is. I don't know. That's strange. Every time I get into a relationship, this dude go to acting crazy. That dude go to make you scratch your head sometimes. But I think my father was he was blackballed because some people said that he used to like men. They said my dad used to like men, so certain ministries walked away from him. So I don't know. I don't care what no one does behind closed doors. I just, like I say, that agenda shouldn't be forced on no child. None of that stuff. Um, you just have to watch. You have to watch a person though. Watch their character. Watch their flaws. And the only reason I mention certain things about him because people they go above and beyond to try to expose my flaws. But I'm not ashamed of anything I do. Nope. Because those are my flaws. Those are my sins. Those are what I have to go deal with. My struggles. It's not for the world to know. It's not for the world to try to expose a person. It's my flaws. That's how I cope with my depression sometimes. When it rises, PTSD sometimes might come in like, man, somebody might have said something or done something. So I'm like, hey man, I need me a day or two. Y'all just need to let me get away from me. I don't need to be bothered with nobody. Just let me vent. Let me go through this. Let me work this out. And then like I say, man, since I shut down, I gave everybody else my time. I guess I worked. I did air conditioning heat from the time I was 21 to about 30. Like I say, my fiance when she died that year. That was rough. That was a rough stage of my life. Cause I don't do funerals. I was never the type to attend funerals. I never, I always meet people at the gravesite, something like that, outside the church after the funeral. I never went to, I stopped going to funerals when I was 8. Um, so that's that was just seeing her like that, laid in the house in the bed. That's what really messed me up. Really messed me up. So then helped me, taking care of a baby, newborn baby. Mm, he was 13 months. And then my son, like I say, I got married in the last 6 months. And then my mom cancer came back on her worst, so I just stepped up and made sure I was going to be available for her to help her because she told me she didn't want a nurse in the house. So I knew, hey, my mother would do it for me if I was sick. So I stepped up and helped take care of my mom. Then I need to give me some me time because that was stressful. I wasn't giving myself the time for myself. Um, then my dad said, hell yes, I'll come back, I'll help you. But when people try to help you, it's always a hidden agenda when it comes down to dealing with certain people. You have to be careful about. It's sad. My hair is growing like crazy right there on the sides. Yeah, I gotta go in there and shave it again. Shave my beard. But yeah, he's always had Some people have a hidden agenda. I say, man, just be careful, be aware, be alert, stay prayed up, and protected. You all be encouraged and be blessed.